You're thinking, oh man, he's kind of on his high horse thinking he did everything perfect. Absolutely not. I did all sorts of things wrong. So let's get into those. The first thing I did wrong, I should have negotiated my salary earlier. I told you, my first job was $43,000. I found out later on, people doing my exact same job were making $5,000 more a year right out of college than I was. Why? Because they negotiated their salary. They asked the question. Nobody ever taught me that. So for people that are young, people that are old, it doesn't really matter. Learn how to negotiate your salary. Get that additional money that you deserve, and then start socking it away to investment accounts. Next thing I wish I would have done is invested in Roth accounts sooner. Roth accounts have been around since the late 90s. Now, they haven't been very popular, especially in 401ks, but I could have started investing in a Roth IRA right out of college. I didn't. I was actually 26 years old when I first started mine. I didn't been investing in my 401k up to that point. I wish I would have started on my Roth accounts sooner. I wish I would have been way more aggressive investing. When I say aggressive, meaning investing more into stocks, not into individual stocks. For me personally, index funds, diversified funds are what I like, but I was way too conservative early on. I grew up in a family, my mom would buy us governmental bonds. I mean, that's how conservative she was for kids. And when I started investing in my 401k, they asked you, hey, what type of portfolio do you want? And I was more on the conservative side because I thought, ooh, I don't like volatility because I didn't understand any of it. In hindsight, if I would have been aggressive, I would have made way more money. So I was way too conservative, especially early on. I wish I would have invested my HSA dollars instead of using them on medical expenses. Most people do this. You get money into your HSA and then you immediately pay off medical expenses. And there's a benefit there because you don't pay any taxes on that. But to turbocharge those savings, you invest it. Nobody told me you could invest HSA money. I had to figure it out on my own. Not even my HR department told me. So wish I would have started that earlier because you get the compounded growth, which is tax-free all the way into retirement. And then my favorite point about this is because people say, well, I wish I could get that money reimbursed that I'm spending on medical expenses. You actually can. As long as you have an HSA account active, you can save your receipts and get reimbursed later on. So make sure you do that. This one may sound funny, but I wish I would have got married sooner. So I got married at 29 years old. I met my wife when I was 24. So we were together for 5 years. My wife is an amazing person. Life's just better with her. It simply is. But from a purely financial sense, here's why I wish I would have got married sooner. One, the financial benefits from a tax perspective are better, and in most cases when you're married. The other thing was it motivated me a lot to grow my money, both from, we'll say, grow my salary to start with, and also we combined finances. I helped her out with her investments. I just became much more focused financially because now it wasn't just me I was worried about. I was worried about her and our future family. And frankly, I was able to get promoted pretty quickly after I was married. I think a lot of it had to do with kind of those feelings of, hey, I've got a family to support now. I need to kind of buckle down and do that. And so I think there's a lot of benefits to getting married. Now, I know it's not for everybody, but it worked out well for me. And I wish I would have got married sooner, honestly. I wish I would have kept my spare cash in a money market account. I kept all my spare cash just at the local credit union. I'm sure most people probably do this. When you keep it in a money market account, inevitably you're very likely going to earn a lot more. And when you add that up over 16 years, it's probably thousands of dollars I've missed out on from just not having it in a different account. I wished I would have done that. Wish I would have taken more chances earlier, both from a professional sense as well as an investing sense. I already told you earlier that I was way too conservative early on, and I've never been much of a risk taker, but I left corporate America to start doing what I'm doing now. That was a big risk because I had a very well-paying job with great benefits, all these things. I had a family. It was a big risk, but it's paid off really well, both from an emotional sense, from a financial sense. All of these things add up. So I just wish I would have taken more risks. And so for anybody out here who's watching that's kind of wondering, how do you do that? I was not a risk taker. You can ask any of my friends and family. I'm as conservative as it comes when it comes to big decisions. But sometimes you got to bet on yourself. And I remember hearing years ago that fear is a really good motivator. And I have found that in my life. Those first 2 weeks after I quit my corporate job, I was kind of freaking out. But eventually I just kind of came to terms with the fact, like, this is what I feel like I was meant to do. And so I wish I would have done that differently and maybe found this career sooner because I knew it was something I wanted to explore, but I was just too scared to. I wish I wouldn't have trusted the advice I was given always. I had some really good mentors, mostly at the place I worked. There were some people that really knew a lot about investing, and they gave me some great advice, but inevitably it seems like everybody's going to give you their 2 cents on where to invest your money and things to do with it. And I got some really bad advice early on. And yeah, I wish I would have done my own research and understood that not everybody knows what they're talking about when it comes to this topic, as well as any other topic. Instead of just hearing things and taking them at face value, vetting them, researching them, and then making a decision after that, I was not very good at that early on. And especially when it comes to this, I'm sure you have great friends. They're probably going to give you terrible investing advice. That's just how friends are. You know, crypto, crazy cousin Sal's laundry business, all these ideas they have, these individual stocks. I'm not saying all of it's bad, but inevitably a lot of it probably is. A lot of people are trying to find these get rich quick schemes. Talk to the people who have done this for a long time, do it professionally, have been successful at it. The proof is in the pudding, as they say. Listen to those people. So that's it at a really high level. Made a lot of mistakes in my life, but have done some things that were also the right decisions at the time. Hopefully this helps you. If it does, please check in with my next video. Thanks for tuning in.